expertise in certain areas to share about what's going on in the marketplace. We're very excited to have two great speakers tonight. I met this young man a little while ago. He has a very great internet technology business that allows and grows black businesses. He'll pop up anywhere, in this city, other cities, etc., highlighting the success of black businesses. So let's give a round of applause for Mr. Stephen West, the founder of BlackWallstChallenge.
I guess I'll stand up. Let me kind of get this because I am kind of streaming this for my platforms as well. First off, I want to thank you, Dr. Lance, for allowing me your platform as well. And I want to thank all of you for coming and doing what you all do.
My brother has class. It's like to see young brothers in class. How does he have class? Let me show you how to have class. I had a birthday party, about a month ago, and he said, I can't make it, but I'm going to stop by and bring you not one, but 2 bottles of champagne. Let's get a brother around. My birthday
is 24. I expect.
All right, that's cool. We can do that.
They want the cheap stuff either.
No, we're not going to do the cheap stuff. So, as I was saying, I want to also thank all of you all and give yourself a round of applause as well, because this is something that's very needed in our community, and it's something that I've actually, I didn't know I was looking for it, but I'm glad I found it. So I'm very honored to be here and get a couple minutes of your time. I'm not going to take too much time because I can be a little winded at times. But so basically, and also, excuse me, I have allergies, so it's kind of bad for me right now. But a few years back, about 3 years back, this is also my uncle. So this guy raised me, so I'm not too far from the same background. And I'll say that I was going through some things mentally and spiritually, and I was trying to find a way that I could give back to my community. I love St. Louis. I've been born and raised St. Louis, from Walnut Park, also Country Club Hills area. And, I just felt like there was something that I could do that could help. I didn't have much money at the time. I didn't think I had even the knowledge to do what I did. But so I was inspired, and the first thing that set me off was I went to the Million Man March. Now, I had heard about it as a youngster. I never really thought that there would be another one, but one thing that I left with, first off, it was a beautiful event. It was so many of us. It was so loving. It was the first time I had ever been around so many of us, and it was just so welcoming. I felt at home. Even though there were people of all these different backgrounds, it was just, it was so much love in the air. And also, as a note, there was no crimes committed that weekend. All these black people came in from all over to D.C., no crimes committed. And it was just a very loving event. But I left with this thing that, I'm not a Muslim, but I left with this, not emptiness, but I just felt as though he didn't give me a plan of action. I felt like they were recruiting more so than trying to say, a man of that much power and can bring that many people to one place, that all look alike, and and not to say, hey, all of you go back to your cities and do this. This is what we need to do. So I did leave a little angry. I'm not going to even, no, not angry, but, I felt a little enraged because he was dropping more knowledge and history and things like that kind of just get you enraged, but it's not a solution, So I dwelled on it, and I had always been infatuated with, not really infatuated, but just really taken and just emotionally, I had always had a feeling of like, the Black Wall Street and just everything that happened with all these people that had lost their lives, that were never repaid any insurance claims. I think we just lost the last survivor earlier this year. And no one got to tell their story. I mean, people have told their stories, but I felt like my generation and younger, they don't know about this story. And all this information is being lost. So, I see all these silly internet challenges, and I was like, you know what? I could come up with an internet challenge. And it started as a hobby because I've always been in tune with shopping with, black-owned businesses. But I was like, this is a way for me to use the internet for something good. You know, social media for, you know, to instead of posting all the nonsense, I could show myself showing love to black businesses. And that's what we call it now. We don't say support, we say showing love, because it's all about love.
That's right.
And it's also a very inclusive challenge. You know, we go to Walmart all the time and we don't say, you know, we don't think twice about it, but we're supporting white businesses and Arab businesses and Jewish businesses all the time and not even thinking about it. So I included instead of supporting black businesses, we're showing love to black business. Anybody can show love. So that's one thing I tag on all of my posts. Anybody can show love. It's for everybody. This challenge is for everybody. You know, it's not exclusive in any way. We just want everyone else to understand the importance of showing love to black businesses. So what I did was I created a platform, 4 platforms. I have a YouTube channel that's got about close to 100 videos from all over the country. We've been from DC to Oakland, California, just going and really ambushing businesses for the most part. We don't, nowadays I go in and I kind of give them a heads up, but for the most part we would ambush these businesses and we just go in there and we just say, hey, we're gonna shop with you if you don't mind, we're gonna record it and we're gonna put it on our page. And so I've been doing this close to 3 years now. Just recently back in April, we another thing that happened, let me rewind, back to after the Million Man March, I went to see this brother speak. I didn't know him at the time, but I went to see Dr. Boyce Watkins speak. And it was at an event, it's called Economic Empowerment. I was 3 or 4 videos in, and maybe a couple cities, and that was one place where I was telling him I remember his face from, and that's how we kind of got reacquainted. But so as I've done work, I actually got to finally meet Dr. Boyce Watkins, which was really big for me because me being from humble beginnings and just my background, I never thought that I would have the opportunity to sit next to somebody, or even for him to tell me I was an inspiration to him. You know, it kind of touched me and it kind of helped me, you know, give me a little bit more boost because he endorsed us. He took us on tour with him, and I got to work like 4 events with him. So another thing I want to say is currently as our community, now these numbers could be skewed because I actually did some research earlier, it could be skewed, but we're about 1.3 to 1.6 billion dollars a year that leaves our community. And my main goal is to just try what I can do, you know, try my best to show people that just to be more aware of where we spend our money. I'm not saying you got to go to a black business for everything, because I do it as much as I can, and I will tell you right now in St. Louis it's almost impossible to go for everything. But what I do try to tell people is the more you shop at a black business, you know, they can also, you know, building up that business, and now they can, you know, possibly get these items and, you know, these wants that we need. You know what I'm saying? So, and the many benefits of showing love to black businesses are it increases business growth, which is something that we need. When you increase this business growth, that reduces unemployment in that area, because who do you think is going to hire a black person? You know, another black person. I mean, you have a higher chance of another black person hiring you than someone else. You know, you have these other ethnic groups that come into our area, and a lot of times they don't hire anyone that looks like the people that they serve. So, you know, and that being said, that also helps the unemployment in that area, and that can affect other issues like crime, poverty, you know, these other issues that my brother was talking about earlier, prostitution, crime, all those symptoms for, you know, that are from this unemployment and those kind of things. And that also helps keep those tax dollars in that area. And when you talk about keeping that money in that community, now we're talking about community strengthening and community building. And what that also does is that helps the schools. If you ride around St. Louis City, you see a ton of schools that are closed. Now, I have done research, and there is some other factors that go into play as well. But one of the main things that we can do is supporting the businesses in our area. Say, for instance, I was talking to a white friend of mine recently, and he was saying, well, you know, some of the stuff you post is kind of racist. First off, we can't be racist. I'm a black person. But secondly, what I tried to explain to him was, well, how about this? When you go to the Hill neighborhood, right? You see all these Italian restaurants. And not only do you see all these Italian businesses, but you also see Italian fire hydrants. They got the fire hydrants, the trees painted. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. And these people support those little corner mom and pop shops. Same in Chinatown. I was up there with Dr. Boyce, and we ended up having to stay in Chinatown because it was last minute. You go in Chinatown, you don't see a Walgreens. You don't see a 7-Eleven. You don't see a Walmart. You don't see any of that. And then at the same time, that's why you come to Chinatown, for that culture. So my picture of what I would like to see happen in all the major cities where we are over 50% of the population is to have Black Wall Street districts in every city, you know, and not allow these other businesses in that area. Not as a racist, you know, because when you start talking to different people, they think, okay, you want to be separate, but that's not separate. I was also, when I was in Chinatown, the funny thing was there was a group of young white college kids, and they were having a tour, and there was a person with a mic on. He's like, do you know who General Shang Li was? And everyone's like, oh, no. But I say this to say this, is that those people are coming there for that culture. Yeah. They come there to eat Chinese food, real authentic Chinese food. They come there to get all this other information. And at the same time, I'm watching an older woman walk her probably grandkid around. And back to what I was saying to my white friend was that, see, we as black people, we don't have that place where we can go and feel love and learn culture. And my grandmother can take, I even have a grandkid now, I can take my grandbaby and show her all of these different cultural things that are going on without feeling like, you know, we got to be separate, or it's some, you know, some other altered motive behind it. And that's not the case. It's about self-love. So that's another reason why we changed it from supporting black business to showing love to black businesses.
Did you notice too, of course, in University City, how the Asians have taken over that?
Oh yes, I use that as an example too. Same with Cherokee. And you know how that started? It was one business there.
That's right.
And what happened was all these people start spending with that one business. That helps that business grow. Now you have a need and a want for more businesses that can cater to that community. So that is, when you get to the tax dollars and you're helping the school and strengthening the community, now we get into the point to where we can get the proper representation. We handpick our representatives. We have people that are going to cater to our community. We're not just voting because you're a Democrat. We're not just voting because you're this or that. We're voting for you because you have our best interest in mind. So this is just something that I came up with, and I'm very, very passionate about it. The next step is I'm looking for investors now because we're trying to convert it into a television show where we can shoot 12. We're trying to get 12 pilot shows done, 12 businesses we highlight in our city, and we take it on the road to every city in the country where we go and showcase different black businesses in every city. Amen. So that's the next step, where we want to take it from this internet challenge to an actual show we can shop to networks and show that, you know, each of these cities has a lot of, you know, they have their own culture and their own, you know what I'm saying, black businesses, and we can help all of them. So thank you for your time.
Once again, thanks for having me, Dr. Lance. I'm truly excited. Like I said, I work with Corporate America, Wells Fargo Advisors, but Claire Hay and I, who's the other founders,